When I was challenged with creating a shader based on this image, I believed I could make it in just 2 hours or less. But what I learned from working on this shader for over 6 hours changed almost everything I knew about stylized shaders. Even I'm confusing myself. Jimmy, you were right. I think we need one more layer. I don't know if things look exactly the same, or maybe we went a little bit backwards. Starting off the shader challenge I did live on stream, I asked my chat to choose between 3 illustrated references for me to replicate in Blender. And so I have 3 different options here. If that's everyone voting, then I think we're gonna go with this one. Now, I chose each of these reference images for my chat to choose from, thinking I understood on a general level how to recreate them with nodes. But I didn't realize I had never made anything so subtly layered as this slimy mass of fleshy material. And certainly not in an illustrative style. And it would prove to be one of the hardest stylized shaders to understand. For your sanity, I think it's time to stop. Yeah, probably. Yet one of the simplest to make after I figured it out. But it took a lot of trial and error to get there, and I pulled out nearly all of my tricks for creating stylized shaders in the process, only to forsake almost every single one of them. Welcome back to the Comfee Mug channel. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, please leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and stick around for the giveaway that's somewhere in this video. And with all that said, let's get straight into building this shader. And I always like to start out with a Voronoi texture. I like to have it on normal because if I connect the position to the diffuse, then it gives us these really interesting geometric shapes for the shading as opposed to just the softness of it. Yeah, okay, cool. So what this, you guys know, we've done this several times before, but what this noise texture is doing is it's making the other noise texture move along with it. And so if I make the detail 5, now you guys can see this first noise texture is influencing the direction of this other noise texture. And we can reduce that a little bit to get a slightly different look there. But it really creates this nice looking stretching in some areas and not stretching in other areas, just a lot of this detail. But actually, I think that I'm going about this as making more of like a rough material right now. And we want more of like a fleshy kind of like softer material look. So let's actually change this to the Voronoi that we have over here and just see what the distance would actually look like. Okay, yeah, there we go. From here, I changed the vectors a little bit. Oh, whoa. Have you guys ever seen something like this? This is really cool. Gave the shader some ambient occlusion and added in some color. And I was feeling pretty optimistic about where this shader was going, even if it grossed me out a little bit. The model is making you uncomfortable. Oh no, I'm sorry. But my optimism slowly turned to confusion as I began to add more layers and started to see a growing problem. I'm gonna plug the color ramp into the roughness and just see what does that do. What I'm trying to get is these more gloppy kind of reflections here that aren't very sharp, but this isn't gonna work because now it just goes back to the plasticky sort of material. Maybe we're going about this as far as like smoothness and whatnot the wrong way. I think we might need to reduce or make the light source a little bit more focused. That's different. There's less glossiness now. Do you think that looks all right? Or have I been looking at this for too long? I want to figure out how to refocus in the glossiness. Ooh, the clear coat. It's interesting, it's very toonish. Now, it was here, it was at this point in the shader challenge that I knew I was cooked. Because even with all of my knowledge of shaders, stylization techniques, and node combinations, nothing I knew was helping me achieve the sliminess of the material nor the fleshiness. I didn't want to show my inner panic to the chat, and I hadn't given up hope yet. We're eventually getting there. But deep down, I knew that I was searching in the dark for the right technique to create this shader. I started to add more and more layers, and it was getting a little out of hand. Just one more, guys. That's all I need, just one more layer. Something had to work. Something had to give the effect I needed, but none of my knowledge of nodes could help me. The answer was right in front of me, staring me in the face. I'm starting to like the principal BSDF more and more, but I couldn't see it. And by the time I finally ended the stream, I think that I'll have to stop this here. I knew I would have to go beyond my own understanding to find the key to creating one of the hardest stylized shaders I've ever attempted to make. I tried different methods off stream to get that slimy layer. I searched for tutorials for stylized fleshy materials, but no one seemed to have the answer I needed. Until I came across one PBR technique that I didn't even think could work in stylized shaders. And before I get into that, I want to give you the chance to win an asset pack of your choosing from the Comfee mug shop for free. I make a lot of anime and arcane inspired assets that you can choose from if you win first, second, or third place in this event. And all you need to do to enter the giveaway for a chance to win is leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts below, and click the Patreon link in the description to create a free account or higher so I can send you the asset pack of your choosing to your email if you win. You can check out all of my asset packs that I've ever made for my patrons who do so much to support this channel, especially my Elder Mug members. I couldn't make any of these videos without your support. It is just so much fun to do this for you guys. There's an extra reward option for my paid patrons, so make sure you all check out the fully detailed rules linked in the description and enter for a chance to win this giveaway event. Best of luck to you all, and with that, let's get back into the video here. Now, as I was saying before, the answer I was looking for to create the slimy flesh-like material was staring me in the face this whole time. And instead of making the shader so complicated that my computer would freeze every 2 minutes, the answer was far simpler than I ever would have thought. And it all had to do with the principled BSDF. I rarely, if ever, use this BSDF, but for the combination of effects I would need to emulate the stylized and illustrative look of my reference image, I needed to rely on a node that is typically used just for making photorealistic materials. You see, the principled BSDF gives you access to both the transmission effect, which gives this thick, slimy coat look that my reference image has, as well as access to subsurface scattering. Now, these are two effects that I've experimented with individually in previous shaders, but I ultimately came to the conclusion that they wouldn't work with the stylization I was going for. Yet somehow, by using both effects in tandem through the principled BSDF and altering them with the position output normals of a Voronoi texture, I was able to achieve a stylized result through a shader node that prioritizes photorealism. Given the nature of the transmission and subsurface scattering effects, I couldn't use a shader to RGB node to convert the result into color data, which meant I had to leave most of the effects I had used on stream behind. But with a few tweaks to the roughness and world color, which proved to be vital to getting the more purple shadow color as opposed to the reddish pink color in the light, I was able to create a shader that straddled the line between illustrative stylization and photorealism. I also gave it an outline using the inverted hole method, but instead of using a secondary shader for the outline with a solid color, I turned on backface culling for this shader and had it act as its own outline, which gave it a really dynamic look that would catch both light and shadows. And after playing around with adding some compositing styles I'll make tutorials on in the future, I was really satisfied with how this shader turned out, even if I didn't add the squiggly lines back into the shader at the end. But what do you think about this shader and the effect I was able to achieve through the principled BSDF? Is it stylized enough or is it too photorealistic? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to enter the giveaway for a chance to win an asset pack of your choosing. Leave a like and subscribe to the Comfee Mug channel if you enjoyed this video and want more, and I'll see you in another video, like this tutorial here, where I teach you step by step how to create an arcane style skin shader using only procedural nodes. I'll see you there.